Back in the days when Amigas hummed with promise and floppy disks ruled, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the graphic adventure, was one of those games that made having an Amiga as a kid feel like you'd struck gold. Hours vanished, homework was mysteriously forgotten, and your bedroom became your own archaeological dig site. Before the days of online updates and microtransactions, you had this, an adventure etched onto floppy disks, with the drive grinding away like it was digging for treasure, and that familiar theme tune already playing in your imagination. Released by Lucasfilm Games, this wasn't just another frantic button masher like the US Gold version. This was made for kids like me who treated the mouse like a treasure map, inching through beautifully drawn scenes one click at a time, completely spellbound. As a massive fan of Indiana Jones as a kid, it didn't just feel like playing a game, it felt like stepping into the film, only now I was the one cracking the whip. With a mouse in one hand, a half-eaten penguin biscuit in the other, a bit of patience and possibly a dog-eared walkthrough tucked away in a desk drawer, I found myself donning Indy's fedora and diving headfirst into a cinematic escapade of Nazis, riddles, and long-lost relics. The story sticks close to the film's plot, more or less, beginning with Indy's soggy return to Barnet College after recovering the Cross of Coronado. It's all there. Walter Donovan's shady proposition, Dr. Elsa Schneider's suspicious charm, the catacombs under Venice, and even that infamous encounter with Hitler, who in my game signed the wrong book, presumably How to Lose a War for Dummies. But despite knowing the film inside out thanks to a well-worn VHS tape and a fondness for quoting Sean Connery around the house, the game didn't make things easy. It shuffles things just enough to keep you guessing, and if you thought having the Grail diary to hand meant a casual jaunt across Europe, you were sorely mistaken. I spent more time in Indy's office than most students spend in actual libraries. Everything is driven by that now iconic point-and-click interface. Verbs line the bottom of the screen like a polite to-do list. Open, look at, use. Each ready to be combined with whatever object you've most recently shoved into Indy's bottomless pockets. It made for a wonderfully intuitive gameplay. Visually, it's a product of its time, but the Amiga version looked rather fetching back then. The backgrounds were atmospheric, the animations serviceable, and even if Indy sometimes walked like he had a coat hanger down his trousers, it all worked. The scrolling screens gave a rare sense of space, and it genuinely felt like you were travelling the world, even if that world came on 3 discs and required frequent swapping that tested both patience and the durability of your floppy drive. Sound-wise, it's a patchy affair, a few standout samples here and there, but much of it feels like an afterthought. The squelch of Indy's boots and the occasional musical sting were lovely touches, but the soundtrack itself was sparse, perhaps best described as ambient grumping with occasional peril. Still, after hours of swapping discs and getting thumped by Nazis, you were grateful for any audio cue that wasn't just your own frustrated sigh. And yes, there were Nazis, plenty of them. Indy could usually walk his way out of trouble, but when that failed, he'd roll up his sleeves and deliver the sort of stiff punches you'd expect from a man who'd been through several sequels. The fight mechanic was wonderfully awkward, more like 2 coat stands flailing in a broom cupboard, but watching one of them crumple after a well-placed jab was always deeply satisfying. You could often talk your way out of trouble, though I usually relied on the chatty route before things got properly punchy. The game also knew how to change things up. One moment you're puzzling over inscriptions in Venice, the next you're in a top-down catacomb maze, frantically searching for a shield while rats nibble at your sanity. And just when you think it's all puzzles and punch-ups, along comes a first-person Zeppelin dogfight, because clearly Lucasfilm weren't quite done showing off. I didn't crash it, miraculously, but it felt like I should have out of sheer respect. Then there was the Grail diary, not the photocopied manual some of us had to squint at in the dark, but the in-game version. A treasure trove of cryptic hints that felt like having a wise uncle tucked inside your inventory. Without it, you were lost. With it, you were just slightly less lost. But it added a sense of authenticity. And more importantly, that quiet triumph when you finally cracked something hours later, after storming off in a sulk and pretending you hadn't been stuck at all. The whole thing was sprinkled with humour, subtle but always bubbling under the surface. It didn't quite hit the madcap heights of Zack McCracken or Monkey Island, but it kept a grin on your face. Lucasfilm's storytelling was in full swing, with snappy dialogue, cinematic cutaways, and enough character woven through every screen to keep you immersed from start to finish. And looking back now, through a rose-tinted monitor and a haze of nostalgia, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade still holds up. Sure, it's a bit stiff, a bit clunky in places, the combat is wonky, the puzzles occasionally maddening, and the music wasn't exactly brilliant. But as an Amiga owner in the early 90s, this was the sort of game you boasted about. It made you feel clever, daring, and just a little bit heroic, even if you spent most of your time trying to figure out how to get past the castle gates without being arrested for the 4th time. It was a game that didn't just want to be a film, it wanted to be an adventure. And for those of us who grew up guiding Indy through crypts, castles and cockpit calamities, it absolutely was. Big thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to let us know what you thought of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in the comment section. As always, your continued support is massively appreciated, so hit that subscribe for more content just like this. Check out the various playlists on the channel for more Commodore titles, and maybe stick around, as there's another one coming up right now. Hopefully. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, bye for now.